Hey there, Eternians, and welcome back to Mike Meeple's Painting Poorly miniature painting tutorials for Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia by CMON Games. More fabulous secret powers will be revealed today as we hold our paintbrushes aloft and say, I have the power to paint She-Ra. She-Ra's model is based primarily off of her original toy. However, I'm going to be taking some inspiration from her appearance in the 80s animated series and hopefully blend the two together in an effective way. I'll be starting by priming She-Ra utilizing a zenithal highlight, and if you're not familiar with that technique, make sure you take a look at my how-to video. Once that's all dry, it's time to start base coats. We'll be starting off with some red by Vallejo and using that to paint the cape. I also included the portions by her shoulders. After that, we'll be working on the shimmer effect found on her skirt by using a suite of colors from the Army Painter Metallic Colors line: Royal Purple, Azure Magic, Glitter Green, and Zephyr Pink. We'll be mixing each of these colors individually with some Lamian medium by Citadel, which will not only thin the paints, but also act as a retarder for the blending process. Starting with the Royal Purple, we'll be painting a gradient starting at the bottom of the skirt and headdress. Then add some Azure Magic right above that, some Glitter Green above that, and then a touch of Zephyr Pink at the very top. Don't be afraid of going over some of the previous color you just painted, as this will actually help the blending process and help suggest that prism effect. Once you're finished with that, take some Salmon Rose by Vallejo and paint her skin. This may take a few coats, just remember to wait until the previous coat is fully dry before applying another. Next, take some Demonic Yellow by the Army Painter and paint the hair. After that, take some Retributor armor by Citadel and paint her boots, shield, bracers, belt, and all the trim of her skirt and headdress. You'll also want to use this color on her choker and the gold rings around her shoulders. Once that's dry, take some Hull Red by Vallejo and paint the straps of the shield. Then take some Plate Mail Metal by the Army Painter and paint the Sword of Protection along with the two bolts in the shield straps. Next, take some Elven Armor by the Army Painter and use that to paint the gems in the shield, sword, and her breastplate. After that, grab some ivory by Vallejo and paint her dress and bodice. And when that's dry, it's time for shades. We'll be starting off with red tone by the Army Painter, and we'll be applying a thin layer to the cape. Next, take some flesh wash by the Army Painter and apply some to the skin. After that, we'll use some Nuln Oil by Citadel to shade the sword. And we'll finish off the shades with some light tone by the Army Painter and applying that to the dress, bodice, bracers, boots, shields, and her hair. It should be noted that I am not applying any to the prism effect of the headdress or the skirt, just the gold trim surrounding those portions. Once that's all dry, it's time for highlights and finishing touches. We'll be starting off by using our salmon rose to highlight the skin. For the face, you want to focus on the chin, nose, cheeks, and forehead. And for the rest of the body, focus on the areas that are most prominent, such as the muscles, knees, and fingers and knuckles. Next, take some basic skin tone by Vallejo and add a second highlight, remembering to paint a slightly smaller area than what you already painted. After that, we'll be using light flesh by Vallejo to apply a third highlight, but use this sparingly. Now, we'll use some dark vermilion by Vallejo to highlight the cape, focusing on the folds and portions that billow outward. For second highlight, grab some Amaranth Red by Vallejo. Then we can start on the highlights of the dress and bodice with a little ivory. Before adding a second highlight with white. Next, take your demonic yellow and highlight the hair. Don't stress yourself out trying to highlight each individual lock of hair, just focus on the larger chunks that stick out the most. When that's dry, you can use some moon dust by the army painter to add a second highlight to the hair. And you can even mix together equal parts moon dust and ivory to add a third highlight. After that, take some Auric Armor Gold by Citadel and highlight the gold portions of the model. Just try to pick out some prominent gold areas such as the front of the boots and the edges of the shield. Then mix together equal parts Hull Red and Orange Brown by Vallejo to add some highlights to the shield straps. Next, take some white and your finest brush and very gently add in some eyes. And dot in the pupils with whatever color you'd like. After that, take some Blue Violet by Vallejo and paint her upper eyelids to give her some eyeshadow. The last thing we'll be doing is using some red to paint the lips. To add some texture to the base, we'll be using some Vallejo Dark Earth texture paste, and applying a thin layer to the base with an old brush, and dry brushing on some highlights, just like in my He-Man tutorial. After that, we'll paint the rim of the base, and hit it with our matte spray. Before I mix together some PVA glue and water, and dab that on before sprinkling on a little green grass by the Army Painter. And adding a pink Otherworld tuft by Huge Miniatures. And if you want, you can also use some super glue and sprinkle on some coarse ballast for some rocky textures. And that's it! I want to give a big shout out to all of my patrons whose generous support helped me make quality content like this. And if you're interested in becoming a patron yourself, information on how to do so can be found in the description for this video, along with links to all the supplies I used today, and a link to my blog, where you'll find more tutorials for games like Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia. And if you like this video and would like to see more, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, you, my friends, have the power.